Are you ready to dig deeper? Are you ready to dig deeper? Okay, so I'm glad that you are kasi marami po akong gustong i-present sa inyo. Ito nga topic natin, the rapture of the saints. Pinakita kanina ni Pastor John, we're so divided. The Evangelical Church is so divided. Ano ba tama? Sabi nila pre-trip, mid-trip, pre-wrath, post-trip. Di pa nga natin napag-usapan yung pre-wrath. Di ba? So, there are varying points nga, and of course, it's not a question whether there's going to be one. Diba? It's just about the timing. Kailan ba talaga, ang actually talagang question, as Brother Mary said, is, yung pagdating ni Lord, darating nga ba si Lord? Kailan nga ba ito? Yung pagdating ni Lord. So, more precisely, the question is about the timing, and while most believers say that it's a lesser doctrine, hindi naman to worth it na pag-divided ng church. Tama ba? That's the reason why we have denominations. Iba-iba po yung ating paniniwala, iba-ibang doktrina, but at the same time, we have something in common. We believe in Jesus Christ. We're all believers. We love Him, and that's why we're here. We want to get to know Him. Tama po ba? Well, the thing is, it's still worth contending for. I believe that the issue of the rapture of the saints is worth contending for. Do you agree with me? Kailangan din nating mapag-aralan ito ng tama. It's actually an important matter. So why the debate? Why the debate? Okay, when will the rapture happen? Itong mga questions na to, kung before, is it after, in the middle of? Because when you choose, which rapture view you believe in, you're actually saying you're agreeing to that particular perceived timing of the coming of the Lord. You're actually agreeing to that perceived timing of the rapture. And there's so many other questions that come with it. So, makikita nyo nga yan sa screen. Pati yung may 7 years tribulation ba? May 3.5 years tribulation ba? You know, is it secret? Are there 2 raptures? Because some would teach 2 raptures. Some would teach 1 secret rapture and then a visible coming. Ano nga ba ang tama? Napakaraming tanong. Kaya dapat nating pag-aralan. Okay? So, why the debate? Because Jesus said, I have told you beforehand. Bakit kailangan pa nating pagdibahitihan? Sabi nga ni Brother Mary, Jesus already said this, pero we don't understand. That's the thing. The evangelical churches, pretty much, from the time of the 4th century, nag-iba ang pananaw. When amillennialism started, and then it was brought on all the way to the time of the Reformation, then the church has become more confused. Kaya kailangan pag-aralan. You see this picture? Balik po natin yan. Ang ganda, no? Hindi po, yan. Tingnan natin, ang ganda ng picture. Sana nagda-drive tayo, no? Nakikita natin. But sometimes we see that if you go to the province where we're from, sa Pangasinan, marami kayong makikitang mountain peaks, hindi lang yung mga palayan. Maganda. The thing is, there is a prophetic telescoping that's happening. Kung akala ninyo, tingin ninyo yung mountains dikit-dikit, but when you drive, as you come near some of the mountain peaks, you'll realize hindi naman sila talaga dikit-dikit. But they are presented in many different ways. Kagaya ng pag-present ni Brother Mary kanina. Actually, it's in my book how the word of the Lord and Paul's word is actually the same. As a matter of fact, you will read it in Galatians that the Apostle Paul spent 3 years in Arabia, tama ba, before he went to Jerusalem, and he actually learned from the Lord. He says he's the least of the apostles, and yet he actually learned from the Lord. That's why he's an apostle, kasi they have to know the word of the Lord, and that's what he's teaching us. But when we talk about the end times, we also need to look at different prophetic word from the Old Testament. You have to look at Zechariah and Daniel, even sometimes Amos and Ezekiel. And then in the New Testament, not only the Pauline epistles, the Gospels, you also have the book of Revelation. And we know that the New Testament is the fulfillment of the Old Testament, or the Old Testament is the foreshadowing of the New Testament. Well, Jesus Olivet Discourse alone, and the post-tribbers are being attacked because they're saying, no, mga post-tribbers, ang defense lang nila, Matthew 24 lang. Well, nilalang lang ba yung Matthew 24? Again, whose word is it? And the synoptic gospels of Mark and Luke would agree to each other, with each other. Now, kung nilalang lang natin yung Matthew 24, well, nilalang lang din natin si Lord. Kaninong word ba yung paniniwalaan natin? Actually, the words of the apostles and the New Testament writers just emphasize what the word has already said. And that's why, again, we need to be Bereans. Study it for ourselves.